I'm still not convinced that we can't live in a society without money. I wonder, from my understanding of communism.
Well, I think the onus is on you, then.
They used money in
But
So
in
explain
the
it
end,
to
the
me.
very end, do they use it? Because
There is no such thing.
There's no communist. There's no communism in the world today that is the end vision of what communism is.
Marx
It's
never
all-
said you should end money. He said what I said.
Yeah.
That one of the main things for the revolution is for the government to control the currency, and I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah. I don't like governments.
I don't either.
So if
But
I
I
want,
believe
if I
that
want a
we need to
world
enlarge the commons.
We've had a boom in availability in technology and making it accessible for even the common person. What made that happen?
what made that happen?
How did that happen? How did we have an explosion in population? How do we feed that?
The
7
people
billion
that
people?
were privileged with the education had the passion to pursue it.
I don't think a lot of these people, the 7 billion on this planet, are very educated.
We also stole a lot from a lot of different countries and cultures and our own people in terms of slavery.
They must be
robbing
surviving
South
'cause-
America,
Yeah,
destroying wealth through wars.
But in America, the birth rate is below the
It's below one person. now.
Yeah. So still, we're at over 7 billion people, and I think at the end of the 20s or beginning of the 20th century, we were like 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So in 100 years,
Oh, it's a huge problem.
it's a huge
the
problem
that
but,
people won't talk about on the media
But
and churches.
in 100 years, there's been an explosion of population. We've maintained it. It's not because of the population in the United States. Certainly not because of the population in Russia. What has enabled that to persist and exist? And I mean, capitalism, right? Or no, or some sort of security blanket that's allowed that to explode. Why?
Well, first of all, it's just a natural progression. It's always going up. It always was going up without any controls.
But it happened real fast in the last 100 years.
Less wars, less disease.
Industrial
The
revolutions.
The
And,
technological
the
explosion in the
genetic
last couple hundred
revolution.
years.
huh?
What caused that?
Nitrogen being fixed. Capitalism didn't fix
Technology.
nitrogen. It was a Jewish chemist in Germany who invented the way to create nitrogen, who was
Explosion?
gassed.
It started
Was he
more than
gassed? Yeah.
more than 100 years ago. It's education. It started with the Enlightenment and the printed word getting around more.
Sure.
And I think that it's just snowballed down to where we are now.
The process of nitrogen,
It's
making
the
nitrogen.
process of printing on paper, and that caused the Enlightenment, and that's why we've advanced so much in technology. I think.
Technology the advancement in technology brought a lot of suffering. I mean, like eight-year-olds again,
Yeah.
Working in coal mines and stuff. I mean, not that the suffering's always existed, but we're still at 7 billion people, and we're able to maintain it to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, would that have happened without money?
I don't know.
I mean, how would that have happened without money?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either.
I don't know the idea. I don't know what the world looks like with a culture without money. Maybe there's some alien culture out there that exists that way, or maybe some science fiction
Only
writer
tribal.
wrote about it. And
Not a large society. It can't happen.
Well, maybe we should be a big conglomerate of tribes then. I don't know.
Different
Well,
tribes.
Maybe we
I
should be
don't know.
less people.
And
Yeah, that would be nice.
send,
Nice, but
go
it's,
colonize space. We can
Pardon?
spread out a little bit, get less people. But my thought would be if we
by
did
example if you're
if
talk
we-
that way.
did figure out how to do that, there'd be things that would go away, like fast food would go away. I mean, it wouldn't exist anymore. The whole reason it exists
It's not
is because
existing by my account.
Yeah,
Nothing I do
but
about
it exists-
supporting.
it exists
Of course, I got a nice
because
garden.
because people want to make money off of it, and it's designed specifically to be addictive to people. The fast food,
A certain blend of sodium,
Yeah.
fats,
And I feel like-
sugars.
Salt, fat, sugar is a
I
great
feel like
book.
We'd
Read
have
it sometime.
we'd have different doctors and lawyers and such. We'd have lawyers that had a passion for justice rather than
We do.
There,
are many.
there are some, but how many became a lawyer or a doctor
it was-
because they want to be
it was-
rich and prestigious?
It was encouraging that they disbarred what's his face out of New York.
Yeah.
What's his
Giuliani.
Isn't it? It's pretty fucked up. I mean, like
Did you watch the?
The testimony?
No,
Oh.
I'm talking about Borat's
Oh,
Borat show
Borat's
where he tries to sleep with the young girl. It was
people.
yeah, Giuliani. Yeah, he had his hand
Yeah.
zipped his pants.
Yeah, he tried.
You know, it's the latest thing that came out. There's some, I don't know, somebody's writing a book about the final days of Trump's.
Yeah,
And one of the excerpts out of it was, of
I
how-
Alone Can Fix It, I believe, is the name of the book.
Yeah, and they talked about Romney was a daily drunk, but on an election night,
Romney?
or Giuliani.
Giuliani, yeah.
And like the night of the election, he was stumbling drunk, and they had to hide in China and the White House because he was going to fucking smash it.
He was Captain America.
Yeah, well,
Captain 11, I mean.
So, yeah, either way, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, so you know, like these guys, some of these kids I'm playing music with, and they're 15 years younger than me, and they wouldn't remember 9/11, right?
Right.
I remember 9/11 because I was 20 something, and it seemed like a shift in things. Like I was in the 90s kid, and so the thing about all that to me was that the 90s in America was very, and I have this perspective, and I'm sure you do too. And I'm interested in your perspective on it. Is that, but like the change in things after was much more dystopian to me. But like just because of how information changed and the reasons America's, I mean, we went to illegal wars and all that shit become very apparent because the media could put it on in front right now in front of you. But media since then has manipulated so much that it doesn't matter if you're being an asshole. We're going to tell you what to do anyway. You can think we're an asshole, but you're still going to do what we tell you. I don't know where I was going with this, but like 9/11 for me was a big change in American history for me. Like just as far as, you know, just as far as like in the 90s, it didn't seem like we're so bad, but nothing necessary. We were still bombing places indiscriminately, you know, but it was so disconnected because maybe the lack of media coverage of it, because the technology wasn't as capable of presenting it to you that quickly. And then 9/11 happened, and then all of a sudden we're going to war in Iraq, and none of this makes sense.
None of it does.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to guess the people that decided that they had a very good reason to do that because it benefited them, and they made a lot of money out of it. They made a lot of power out of it.
I wonder if it isn't even something way darker, that it's meant to destroy wealth, to create a demand for more new credit. It's a question I have about just how dark the monopolies are. Although I hope it isn't that, or I don't
Yeah,
know
the monopolies
to what
are
extent it's that.
beyond just America, you know, and so like them being complicit in 9/11 or even allowing it or knowing about it beforehand or whatever, how you want to buy into the conspiracy of it. Yeah,
Or
it's
at
like,
the least profiting from it.
well, you know, you blow shit up, you got to clear it and build it again. You blow a building up, you got to fucking
Move it away.
move that, and somebody's going to pay you to do that, and then you got to build a new building there, you know. It's very dark. That is very dark.
Yes.
And
it
yeah,
is.
but I believe that's the case also.
It's yes.
I mean, that's just money changing hands, and I don't care as long as you.
It's also the slice of the pie. The slice of the pie changes.
Yeah.
It's not only a amount of production. It's also an amount of pies that you build. It's how big of the slice that you can get.
Yeah.
And the monopolies that need to have poor people, or else they can't make as much money. It's a relative of the pie thing. Relative to how big a slice of the pie the poor people get versus the monopolies.
Yeah, and to be
total
poor, I
production.
mean, your worries are very different from people that have time to lounge, right? I mean, because you got to worry about where you're going to eat. I mean, you got to worry more about survival, and so you don't have time to consider these bigger picture things, and that's to the benefit of the monopolies, right? Because you keep them in that fear zone, you can manipulate them, and you can take advantage of their lack of ability.
Keep them in the fear zone.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That's
how
it.
Yeah.
But that's it on so many levels, not just money. You guys both deal with fear, don't you?
We're not supposed to have monopolies, right?
It's very strange, right? Because AT&T, Ma Bell, get all broken up and all that shit's like Amazon.
Well,
I mean,
It's not
comparatively.
broken up.
How many
Anyway.
choices? How many
Well,
choices?
Verizon
AT&T's
is Ma
huge.
Bell.
Yeah, AT&T's huge.
I bring
but-
this up because I got a letter in the mail from the water company today. I've never ever missed a payment, and I pay through snail mail. I write checks instead. Well, I don't remember getting a bill from the water company last month.
Oh, they
So
don't
I got
give you
a
much time.
Yeah,
do
I
they?
got a disconnection notice today. I'm like, what the hell, man? I've never missed a payment. It's
Yeah, they don't care.
It's like $90. It's nothing. It's no big deal. You're gonna shut my water off?
Yeah.
But what are our choices? What other water company do I have to go to, or what other electric company do I have as my other choice, or gas company?
Yeah, I don't
Shouldn't
know.
I have
It's
options?
pretty inhumane, right?
Isn't it? Well, it is. Yeah, but that's monopoly too, isn't it?